We saw Gabby's Dollhouse over the weekend, the movie, and so I want to share some of my thoughts. Generally, though, I felt like it was a very sweet, cute, very mild, not very dramatic movie. So I'm going to share a few spoilers about things that stood out to me that might cause some emotional reactions or might be hard for some kids to watch, but I would say it is very mild. I've reviewed a lot of kids' movies, and this is nothing compared to some of the things that I've seen in those movies. The movie is about the dollhouse being stolen or taken away by a villain. So there is a villain that's introduced, which is not something that's in the show. That is different. It is an adult. So at first, they're very scared of this adult. They're hiding from her. Of course, there's a happy ending and the adult becomes a friend at the end. And there are times where Gabby is away from her friends and she has to go find them. But that does happen pretty quickly. And when she's reunited with the friends, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I was so worried. Are you okay?" And they're like, "I'm great." And they sing a song and they're fine. There's also this storyline about what's going to happen with Gabby as she gets older, because she is older in this film. She's either a teenager or an older kid. And is she still going to play? Like, what's going to happen as she gets older? And there's a scene at the end where Gabby is crying. And I would say that was probably one of the hardest scenes if you have a child who is deeply feeling and has grown up with Gabby. That might be hard for them to see her cry like that. She is comforted by her friends quickly. Everything is resolved and happy. But that scene was probably the most emotional one. There is some anger and some sadness, some exchange of conversations that are intensive. There's a little bit of like a chase scene at the end, but nothing where it felt like these characters might die. So that is not a part of it. At least that was not my impression. There were some butt jokes, which is unique. That's not part of the show. I don't care, but I know some parents care, so I'm putting it out there. There's a scene where one of the characters like takes a bow off that they're wearing and does a naked dance, which was like, okay. It was not a big deal, but it was sort of like, that's different. And there is just a blip where it's kind of implied that grandma's going to have a martini or some type of cocktail, but you don't ever see her drinking it. There's another scene where the adult villain is teasing one of the kids because she skipped a grade. I think she says, "You're one of those kids." So not nice, but the scene moves and she becomes friends with this kid by the end. So again, like everything gets resolved and feels like happy and warm by the end. The audience was packed when I went. Lots of little kids. They were giggling and talking back to Gabby because she talks to the screen and talks to the kids. So it was definitely like a very happy and easy film. I would love to know what you thought and if your kids liked it. So let me know in the comments.